Northwest Raven Pride! Northwest Raven Pride! I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win!
Good evening and welcome to Olathe Northwest season opener versus Manhattan. I'm Shelby Orton.
And I'm Alex Pauley.
So this year is a match-up between Olathe Northwest and Manhattan from last season. Last season, Olathe Northwest sadly lost 42-7.
Yeah, I mean, that was a rough game even from the get-go. Manhattan started the game off with a 15-play drive, really wore out the defense. Northwest will definitely be looking for a better start this year as they kick off to start the game.
Now, let's send it to Rosie Boswell with some more information about what we're about to watch.
Tell Rosie she's on. Tell Rosie she's on.
Okay, so especially on the Manhattan team, we will be watching Damian Italio. He's a junior nose guard, and he's said to be the best defensive lineman we will see all season by Coach Hafner. We will also be looking to number 45, who is Sam Shields. He's the right tackle on the Manhattan team, and he is a K-State commit. So these two players will be important to watch this game for the Manhattan team.
Thank you, Rosie. So as we can now see, we have started the game. Alex, do you have anything to say about the start of the game and what the Ravens or Manhattan will be looking for at the beginning?
Well, we talked to Coach Hafner a few days ago. One thing that he mentioned was just the heat factor of this game. Thankfully, the sun is going down behind the stands, so there's a little bit of shade. But it is really hot outside. It's going to affect both teams. They're really looking for a mental battle here, just who can outwork the other team.
That's great. It is fairly hot tonight, at 80 degrees. That's just the temperature. Obviously, if you're from Kansas, you do know the humidity is making it much, much worse. Like Alex said, as the sun goes down, it should be better. Currently, Manhattan is on the offense with the possession of the ball. The snap is set and passed off to number 32. And a pile-up on Manhattan's 20-yard line.
Now, see, that's exactly the kind of stop that Northwest is looking for here early in the game. They just don't want to let Manhattan get those big yardage plays to just wear us down.
Yeah, we are currently at 13 yards to go for Manhattan after a penalty that we saw while our sideline report Rosie was talking. Those kind of plays are what Olathe Northwest will really need this game to get on the offense and be ready to push the ball back on down to the Manhattan line. The snap is set and passed off to 9, who has running almost to a first down. Number 9 was Dayon Ashenbren, who is a junior at Manhattan. That was an 11-yard run. We are now at a third down with 2 yards to go. Olathe Northwest will really need a great stop right here to try to get in possession of the ball fairly quickly at the beginning of the game. Like Alex said earlier, Manhattan had a 15-play run at the beginning of the last game when we played them, so they're really looking for the stop.
And it looks like they picked up the first down right there. We will see as the ball is placed. Yep, the chains are moving. That's a first down for Manhattan, not what Northwest is looking for at all.
That first down puts Manhattan on their 43-yard line, I believe. Yes, the 43-yard line on Manhattan's side. Olathe Northwest needs to get a couple stops right here, keep them where they're at, make them punt, and they can return the ball. Snap is set, handed off to number 5, who is running. Gets a few yards, but not quite a first down yet.
Number 5 right there is Lorenzo Wilhoit. It seems like he'll get most of the carries tonight. That's 2 or maybe 3 for him already. Now that's a gain of only about 2 yards for Manhattan. Still a little bit of ways to go for the first down. Northwest still looking for that stop. There's already been a lot of plays so far, and Manhattan hasn't moved much.
The snap is gone, and number 9 is taking it. That's a first down, and he gets loose through our defense. Number 10 on the Ravens dives, but misses him just by inches, and that's touchdown Manhattan.
Now, we were talking a lot earlier about looking for short, quick stops, but that's definitely not what we need.
For a touchdown so early in the game, we all know that's not great for Northwest's confidence coming in.
That was a 60-yard run by the quarterback, Dane Aschenbrenner.
What's really interesting about their quarterback is he's a junior, which for a lot of teams is pretty young. For Northwest, we do have a senior quarterback, so a junior quarterback, while it isn't too unusual, that could be dangerous in years to come as well with having him coming back next season. So having a quarterback that was already able to do that so quickly will be very helpful to Manhattan in the future, but pretty bad for other teams playing him.
Now that's a quick timeout there for Manhattan. Not sure what went wrong there. Grant Snowden was lined up to take the extra point kick, but with 9:27 left in the first quarter, we have our first timeout.
Manhattan and Northwest are now back on the field getting ready to take that kick for the extra point.
And the kick is good. It's converted, giving Manhattan an early 7-0 lead. The Ravens will now take the field on offense, hoping to make something happen, maybe a quick response.
Northwest is looking like they have a great turnout for their student section tonight. With Manhattan being so far away, their student section's looking a little small, but pretty impressive for the drive that those students probably had to make. Northwest is hoping to have that home field advantage play a little bit of a role in tonight with such a large student section and it being the season opener. Northwest is really looking to pull out a win for their student section.
We actually talked to Mason Sadler last week during our fall media day. And he said that the student sections do play a pretty large role in how they play, especially with momentum. When the student section is hyped and they're loud and feeling good, it makes the players feel good as well and really does affect their performance in a positive way. So hopefully the students will be on their side tonight and make that happen.
I believe their coach also said something about this student section, saying that if the student section isn't going to hype them up for a game and get them pumped up and ready, then he doesn't really know what will. So we can all hope for a good play out here with the student section watching.
Now it's not a very long kick from Manhattan. It's returned to about the 38-yard line, I believe, on the Northwest Ravens side.
Gabe Barfetti, number 10 on special teams for the Raven, was the one that caught that and got a few more yards in before he was tackled.
The Ravens take the field now with their first drive of the night. Just about 9.5 minutes left in the first quarter. They are, again, hoping for a quick response here to that early Manhattan touchdown.
A few key players you can be watching for right now. Mason Sadler, number 12, Northwest quarterback. He's a senior this year, and he is expected to be fairly good. Also, wide receiver Ryan Andrews, number 88. He is 6'3", and he has been playing for Northwest for 4 years now. They're really hoping that Mason and Ryan will be able to connect a lot this year. Now,
one interesting thing about the Ravens is that They actually play in a different formation than most teams, with a triple option. The quarterback, the wide receiver lined up there, or the running back can all run with the ball, which is hard to defend against.
Mason Sadler goes for the throw, but is just far. Number 6, Trevor Bolden, just a few steps away from catching that ball, and he would have been clear of any defensive player and maybe could have even gotten the Ravens an equalizer.
That's a very quick third down now for the Ravens. The ball on their own 39. They still have about 10 yards to go for the first down. They need a big gain here, or else the punting team might make an early appearance.
Snap is gone, thrown back to number 1, who is taking it for a run. We can see Ryan Andrew on the side over there was holding up one of the defensive players for number 1, Chase Brown, to get by, and I believe they got the first down. The Ravens, that was really crucial for the Ravens.
Now, Shelby, one interesting thing there was that the Manhattan defense actually showed blitz. They looked like they were going to blitz the quarterback, especially if it was a passing play. Could have been destructive against the Ravens, but a quick run to the outside there took a lot of the Manhattan defense out of the game, opened up a lot of space on the sideline. That was perfect for the Ravens for the first down.
Yes, now they are on the Manhattan side, which is great for them so early in the game. Little trick play right there given to number 6, who is getting free. He's going, and he's taken down right after the 20-yard line.
Now, Shelby, I mentioned it earlier, but that was a perfect example of the triple option. Don't know if you saw it. Mason Sadler was getting ready to run to the left. He saw 2 defenders closing him down, so that quick pitch out to, I believe it was Trevor Bolden, number 6. Yeah, quick pitch out to Trevor Bolden, and he had a lot more space than Mason would have. That's just the threat that the triple option brings. It's very hard to run, but when it works great, and that was a nice pickup for the Ravens.
This is exactly what the Ravens are needing right now. Down 7 after just a couple plays. They're really needing the equalizer this early. As we also have seen now in our last couple plays, number 6, Trevor Bolden, will be a major player to watch. He's already run the ball twice. Number 1, Chase Brown, has also got a run in. So we're definitely going to want to keep our eye on both of those players for Mason to connect with. And then hopefully Ryan Andrew might get a few catches and runs tonight as well. Looks like there's a flag on the field.
All right. Oh, camera 3, take 3. Nice armpit shot. Great.
Not sure what that flag was for, but it was very harmful for the Ravens as they're now back about 10 yards, 20 to go, still on the first down.
We can see over on the sidelines number 18, John Lindsay, getting ready for a possible kick if needed. Something that's really interesting about John Lindsay is he's actually also the varsity goalkeeper for the Ravens soccer team.
Quick run there by the Ravens, not much of a gain, and another flag is another flag is thrown. Now, Shelby, what you said about our kicker, John Lindsay, it is a very interesting situation as he's playing 2 fall sports at the same time. We interviewed him a little bit about how that works. He said it's very hard to manage. The most crucial thing for him is just to communicate with both coaches, Chris Graham being the soccer coach, and then Coach Hafner for the Northwest Raven football team. But he does a good job managing it and does well for both teams.
And every time you get to talk to John Lindsay about playing both sports, he always has something positive to say about both experiences. You won't hear him complaining about being tired, worn out, or needed at 2 places at once. He loves what he gets to do. He is thankful to all the coaches who allow him to play both sports at the same time. And he's a really fun player to watch both on the soccer field and the football field.
Now that last flag was on Manhattan. As the Ravens have moved back up to the line of scrimmage. They have 10 yards to go for the first down again. Still first down. No, second down. My apologies.
Got a few yards gained there, but it's going to be a third down.
A nice thing about the Ravens' position here is that they are in field goal distance. if needed, John Lindsay can come out on the field.
Hopefully a nice easy kick for John to at least get them 3 points if we can't get either the down or the touchdown on this next play.
That's moving everywhere, right? Okay, Jenna, we're on you still. All right.
This has been a great start for the Ravens. As we said earlier, Manhattan had a huge lead. Oh! That is a Ryan Andrew catch for the touchdown. Ryan Andrew is a senior here at Olathe Northwest. He's played football all 4 years, and that is his first touchdown of the season with a pass from Mason Sadler.
Oh, however, there is a flag on the field. It'll be interesting to see what this is for. Looks like a face mask on the offense. That's devastating for the Ravens. They really wanted that early touchdown there. Would have brought them a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence. You can see the dejection right now in the student section as they went from jumping up and down to just standing still. And that'll bring the Ravens back a heavy distance. That's a devastating blow for them. Looked like a phenomenal start, but could be a major, major flag right there.
That was something you did last year.
Now that face mask penalty there on the Ravens brings them back 20 yards. It's now 3rd and 25.
Hopefully they can connect here. Ryan Andrew looking for that catch one more time, and he was just a few inches off. You can see the devastation from Ryan as his fingertips had it, but he just couldn't make the complete catch.
That's a tough series right there for the Northwest Ravens. Both throws to Ryan Andrews. The first one is converted, and it's a touchdown brought back by a face mask. And now, sadly, they are 4th down, still 25 to go. Looks like the offense is going to stay on the field. They are looking to convert this 4th and 25.
With it being so early in the game, they don't have as much to lose as they would later with not getting a 3 points, but I think they should definitely be going for the 7 here. Throw, and again, it's just a little too far.
That one was broken up by number 23, Nathaniel Hansen on the Manhattan team. And now both teams will rotate as the Northwest Ravens defense comes out, and Manhattan has another offensive drive. Just about 6:16 left here in the first quarter.
I think we can say even after that devastating penalty that brought them back, I think we can still say that's a much better start than the Ravens had last year when they were playing Manhattan. And I think that should bring them at least a little bit of confidence coming into their next play. Manhattan now on offense. Number 32 already breaking loose of the Northwest defensive line.
A big gain there for Manhattan again. That was number 32.
Oh, there's a
BJ
flag
Young,
on the play,
senior.
though.
Both teams are moving backwards, and that was a flag on Manhattan.
Oh, that's rough for Manhattan. That was a pretty great run by number 32. BJ Young getting it up the field past the 50-yard line and into the Raven half. So now they are brought back with 5 extra yards, it looks like, added to the 10.
2 quick flags already causing major issues for both teams. I wonder if that'll be a theme tonight or if they can figure that out quick.
Snap is set, and it's a throw that is not caught. 81 just goes right through his fingertips. Looks like 81 is Tate Brown for Manhattan. Just went right through his hands, and pretty lucky for the Ravens.
It was right in and right out of his hands there. A nice throw from number 9, Dane Aschenbrenner, junior quarterback for Manhattan. Just couldn't convert, and it is now 2nd down for the Manhattan offense.
The Ravens really need this quick stop to try to get the ball back and bring in some of that momentum they had at the end of their run. We see a handoff to number 5, I believe, who gets a few yards for him, but not enough for the first down yet.
It was a large pickup and a nice run there, but with that early penalty, and then the Indians have being back so far, still 6 yards to go here on this third down.
Yes, number 5, Lorenzo Wilholt got quite a few yards there. They are now back in the original 10 yards with, I think, 6 to go with a third down. If the Ravens can get a big stop here, that would be really great for them, forcing Manhattan to punt, and the Ravens could get the ball back and bring some of that momentum back to the game.
So stay on your shot, Ethan. You're following. Zoom out just a little bit.
Snap with number 9 quarterback, junior quarterback running, not getting the first down.
See if the crowd's going.
Now, I'm very interested to see here. Do you think the Indians will bring on the punting team, or are they going to go for the short fourth down?
It's looking like they might be going for the short fourth down. Oh, nope, here comes out the punting team. There was a little bit of a delay. I wonder if they were discussing it with the distance being so short. Looks like it was only 1 yard to go. But I think with as close as they are to their goal line, it was probably a smarter decision for them to bring out the punting team.
So, Ethan, go to camera 2, take 2. Jenna, slowly pan to the right. Ethan, you get the punt.
And there's the punt,
Honestly, I did it too if I did
All right, go to
2 hours away now.
letting it roll out. And it looks like it'll be stopped on the Ravens' 20-yard line.
All right.
Now, that was a nice kick there from Manhattan.
A lot longer than their first one.
Right. Yeah, I helped build it.
Let's see if the Ravens can kind of come out strong like they did with their first play and see if they can bring some of that momentum back and get it back down the field, at least into field goal range.
One interesting thing here, as you mentioned earlier, although the touchdown was disallowed and then the follow-up attempt was failed, the Ravens now should have some confidence knowing that they can
Yeah.
get down there and can get that reception.
Most definitely, just knowing that they can get it and knowing that they can beat them in that sense should be giving them at least a little bit of confidence that it is possible.
Now, that's another run from the Ravens. This is a very run-heavy team. Talked to Hafner a few days ago. He said about probably 70% or 75% running plays. They're going to be looking for a lot of rushing against the Manhattan Indians, but it seems like the rush up the middle is not going in their favor. It's being stopped early quite a bit, and it'll be interesting to see how the passing goes.
Yes, it did. As we saw earlier, when they were running it down the sides, that's when they were getting the most yards. As you just said, when they were trying to go down the middle, it's just not working for the Ravens. They need to either start going down the sides or start throwing again. Oh, and there's a flag pretty quickly on that play.
Ethan, go to the official. There's a flag on the place to find the official. It's going to be some call. Not that one. Maybe one. You can actually make
Looks like it was on number 2 on the Ravens, which is Logan Evans.
So it was not bad for the first attempt. It was
That pushes the Ravens back a little further than they're probably wanting to be right now. Hopefully, as this is their second down, they can try to get some momentum forward and hopefully get a first down.
All right. Ready, camera 2. Take 2.
And there's a snap thrown back to number 2, who is trying to run down the side. Oh, and he is taken down hard by the Manhattan defense.
That's another big stop for Manhattan, again behind the line of scrimmage. The Ravens just continue to lose yardage here. It's now 3rd and 20 from their own 10-yard line. This is not looking good for the Northwest Ravens right now. They need a big play here.
We see on the sidelines the Ravens defense already kind of getting ready to return to the field. The more and more this defense is forced to play in the first half means the more tired they're just going to get throughout the game, and it could be pretty rough for the Ravens come second half.
Now, that option pitch to the left side there has been working out for the Ravens, but it seems like Manhattan knew what was coming as they had stacked numbers on that side.
Looks like they tried to run it up the middle again, and as we've seen multiple times now, it's just not working for the Ravens. That was a big stop for Manhattan with a lot of yards lost during that play, and it looks like the Ravens are bringing out their punting team.
Quick 3 and out there for Northwest. The punter is going to look for a large kick here. That's
This is really not what Olathe Northwest needed coming out.
Go focus on the punch. Sorry, I made it the other way
After their first drive going so well, I think we all had high hopes for this second one, and it just didn't play out how anybody was hoping.
Manhattan has 2 receivers back, both around the midfield, and it's looked like a fake punt. He was rolling to the right, and then he does kick it. Goes out of bounds at about the 45-yard line, still in Ravens territory.
Yeah, number 5, Max Weaver, who just took the punt for Northwest, looked like he was contemplating whether he should try to run it for a down or not, and ultimately decided to just punt it.
That was an interesting play there. I know that they run a option offense. It's very interesting that they're also running an option special teams. Probably a good call there by the punter
Yes.
with 20 yards to gain. Did not look like he was going to make that with a run, so smart decision to kick. Force Manhattan to be back a little bit farther than the 10-yard line.
It is still, however, on the Ravens' half, and that's not ideal as number 9 is already getting through the defensive line.
Now, it seems like constantly number 9, the quarterback, has these large open gaps in the offensive line. Seems like Manhattan's doing a fantastic job of opening up those holes, keeping the defense spread out, and giving these nice running lanes for him.
Pretty quick first down for Manhattan, already moving up to the 32-yard line. The Ravens need some big stops here to try to get the ball back and maybe even try to get it on Manhattan's side. Ball is given to 14, who runs it for a couple yards.
Jenna, try to zoom in on the photography.
As Rosie Boswell was talking at the beginning of the game, Manhattan has a few big names on their team, including number 75, Sam Shields, who is already committed to playing football at K-State, and number 45, Damian Ilalio, who is, according to multiple sources, one of the best defensive linemen we will be playing all season. So that could, having that defensive lineman on your side could be part of the reason we're getting stopped so quickly.
Manhattan with another big run out there to the right side. Picks up the first down and a lot more. They are inside the 10. It just seems like they're rolling on the Northwest defense right now.
Looks like number 10, Gabe Barfetti, was the one that made this stop over there. Northwest is again going to need some really big stops here. They can't let Manhattan get 2 on them. 32 runs it. Looks like he gets through for a touchdown.
Now that was number 32, B.J. Young. He's a senior at Manhattan High.
This is again another rough start for the Ravens, having 2 taken on them already.
Alright, so Ethan, follow the shot or the move from the extra point.
And the extra point is good once again for Manhattan. The score is now 14-0. Manhattan is leading while the seconds run down in the first quarter.
Now B.J. Young, number 32, that is only his 3rd carry of the night, but he already has 31 rushing yards as well as a touchdown, as we just saw there. He seems to be a major threat on this Manhattan Indian offense, one that the Northwest defense should definitely be looking out for the remainder of the game. That was a quick drive there for the Manhattan offense, needing only 3 plays to march it down the field and into the end zone. The Ravens are looking to hopefully match that with one of their own, as they are down 14-0. It's only the first quarter, and they do not want to lose this game early.
Okay. Just follow Ethan, we're still on you. Okay, ready?
Ravens taken down earlier than they would have hoped for. Number 5, Max Weaver, who didn't get quite as far as they were hoping he would, gets taken down on the Ravens' 25-yard line.
That was another nice stop for Manhattan. It seems like they're just breaking all of the block attempts and the tackles that the Ravens are setting for them. There were a lot of open white jerseys that were there looking to make a tackle.
Alright, we're still on you, Jenna.
A quick clarification, we just found out that number 5 is actually Grant Hall, and one of our rosters that we had back here just had the numbers mixed up. So our apologies. Grant Hall has been the runner on some of those plays.
Now, Grant Hall is usually lining up in the number 13 jersey, but today he's wearing number 5.
Looks like it might have been a Raven fumble with a Manhattan pickup.
And only on the second play of that drive, the Ravens lose the ball. A quick turnover. That is the end of the first quarter. Manhattan will pick up with an early lead in the game, and then another early drive in the second quarter.
The Ravens are definitely going to need to bring some energy into this next quarter. They've been looking a little slow on the defense, letting the Manhattan quarterback get through quite a few times, and just letting a few other runners really take them on. BJ Young being one of those people who scored the last touchdown for Manhattan. The Raven defense is definitely going to want to make sure they're looking for some of those players a little closer, and just overall bringing in some more energy to the game with as large of a student section as they have tonight. Hopefully that can help them bring some more energy.
Now the Ravens really do need to be watching their penalties. As we saw, that face mask in the first quarter could have brought the game to an early tie, 7-7. It's now 14-0. Manhattan with the ball in very good field position. The Ravens definitely will not be happy with that early call. Hearing that?
The Ravens have lost around 32 yards in just the first quarter from penalties, and as we've seen, that's really hurt them, bringing back a touchdown that was thrown to Ryan Andrew, and just a few other key plays that were brought back.
Now that was an incredibly high snap there to number 9, Dane Aschenberger, the quarterback from Manhattan. He did a very good job jumping up, quick control, and brought it back down for number 32, BJ Young. Quick run to the right. Didn't make a whole lot happen, but a snap like that definitely could have been devastating if the Ravens picked it up in the backfield.
Caleb White, number 8, with the stop there for the Ravens, did a pretty good job on the side, and you saw after the tackle, Caleb White getting pretty excited about it. I think he's bringing a little bit more energy like we were just talking about, and hopefully that energy can spread to the rest of the team. There's a snap to number 5, and number 5, Grant Hall on the Ravens, takes him down for a loss of yards for Manhattan.
That was a great stop there for the Ravens. Manhattan showed run the entire way, lining up with only one receiver on the left side. They had a lot of blockers there in the middle. It looked like run. They showed run. They did run, and Grant Hall was there to stop him. Nice play by the Ravens.
That was much needed by the Ravens, as Manhattan has been kind of beating them up a little bit lately. The Ravens really needed that to boost some confidence, but then also to just push them back a little further. It's now going to be 3rd down with 13 to go for Manhattan. We see a run to number 82 who gets the touchdown. Number 82, Tyler Higgins, just scored that touchdown for Manhattan, and he is a senior this year.
It was a great throw by quarterback Aschenberger and a nice catch by Higgins. A lot of coverage there around him. He had 3 black jerseys, still managed to spin and make that catch and hold on to it before it was knocked out of his hands. Nice play by Manhattan.
This Manhattan quarterback is really showing up tonight. Not only have we seen him run for quite a few yards just by himself, but we're also seeing that he can throw decently as well, as we've seen him throw multiple times in the game for quite a few yards, and then also that throw right there for the touchdown.
Now the extra point is converted by Manhattan. It's very interesting that you talk about the quarterback and how well he's performing, especially because he's a junior. A lot of composure there from maybe not an older guy. And obviously he's showing that he doesn't need to be an older guy to perform well.
Yes. It definitely looks like he has a lot of experience on the field with the team, which could just be from preseason practices or from prior seasons. You just can see that he does not get stressed under pressure from our defense and is really able to look at the different plays that can be made.
The 5'11 quarterback for Manhattan only has one incompleted pass tonight with 111 passing yards as well as 2 touchdown passes early in this game. It's only the second quarter and Manhattan leads 21-0. The Ravens really need to get some momentum going to form a comeback or else this game could get out of control fast.
The Ravens are really looking for something big here from either a receiver running it down for quite a few yards or just getting their offense in and ready to go. This is where they're going to need the most energy.
It's another great kick by Manhattan.
Brought down on the 25-yard line.
It's a decent return there from number 6, Trevor Bolden, especially for where he caught that ball, just around the 10-yard line. Brings it up about 15 to the 25, and Ravens need to make something happen here.
The Raven defense should be coming in with some fire in their system for this next drive with being down 21 with such a large student section. You can't help but just want to win for your fellow classmates, especially for a lot of the team, this being their last season opener. Hopefully they have a little bit of fire in their system. Number 1, Chase Brown, runs for quite a few yards. It looks like it's going to be just shy of a first down.
Coach Hafner had a lot of praise earlier when we talked to him about his running backs and his fullbacks. Chase Brown, Eli Becker, and Trevor Bolden said that they will get a lot of carries tonight, and they're looking for them to gain some big yards. Now
that run is just what the Ravens needed to get closer to that first down, hopefully get it converted, but it looks like there might have been a flag on the play. Yep, and they're being brought back even further.
Now, I don't know if you just saw, but Chase Brown, number 1, limped off the field. He was replaced. I didn't see who replaced him.
Looks like 87's coming on.
Yeah, Chase Brown holding his leg there on the sideline. The Ravens are definitely hoping that he's okay. They do not want him to exit this game early.
Looks like 87, Luke Cashman, is coming on to replace him.
We're being told now that Chase...
Looks like there was a possible fumble and picked up by Manhattan.
That's the second fumble of the night for the Raven offense and the second fumble deep inside their own territory. This is not what the Raven coaching staff or the team is looking for at all. Now, we were being told just a second ago that Chase Brown injury is a reoccurring one. He is still on the sideline, still with the team. And it looks like he's sitting down with the offense now. He has not left the game yet. Manhattan takes the ball for a quick carry. That's the junior quarterback again, Aschenberger, taking it inside the 5-yard line. He has been very destructive to this Raven defense.
This Raven defense is going to have to learn how to stop that quarterback from running fairly quickly before this next half especially, so maybe they can stop him faster and get the ball back and hopefully maybe get a few points of their own.
Now, I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but it's first and goal on the 2-yard line. This could be a quick touchdown for Manhattan, but it's another stop from the defense.
That's just what the Ravens need, and while you are right that this doesn't look too great for the Ravens, if they can maybe stop them before they get in the end zone and either get a turnover or just make them kick it for 3 points, anything will help the Ravens at this point. They're back on the line. It looks like Manhattan is pushing for it again. It doesn't look like they got it quite yet.
No call yet from the...
We're waiting.
Nope,
yep.
no touchdown.
Not yet.
That's third down and goal still, but now they're on the 1-yard line. Ravens looking for one more stop. Maybe could force a 3 points here. But at this point, the Manhattan offense might just go for a 4th down if it comes to that.
I think the big thing we're seeing right here and why the Ravens are being able to stop them is we have some pretty big guys on our line, and it looks like Manhattan passed it back for a run, and it's another touchdown for Manhattan.
The Manhattan offense is really rolling in this first half. They're not needing a whole lot of plays to march down the field, especially with the field positions that they've been getting. Both of their last 2 scores have started inside, I believe, the Ravens' 30-yard line, maybe even the Ravens' 20-yard line.
Yeah. I believe the first one was on the Ravens' 25 and the second was on the 15 maybe, which is not ideal for the Ravens as they are pretty far back already. Oh, it looks like Manhattan was going for the 2-point conversion there, and they don't quite get it.
Very interesting setup by the Indians there, and a very interesting play call, already up 27-0. It didn't seem like a high-pressure situation where they would need a 2-point, but maybe they just wanted extra padding on the lead. Either way, it's not converted, and now Manhattan leads 27-0 with 8 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first half. A very interesting development here. Chase Brown is laying on the ground on the sideline.
He's rolling on the ground. He looks very injured right now with the trainer going over there very quickly to check on him. He looks pretty injured over there, and that could be very bad for the Ravens for the rest of the game if he is not able to come back in.
Brown is punching the ground, still rolling on the floor. This does not look good for the Olathe Northwest team.
Yes, it does look like Chase Brown's hamstring injury is bothering him quite a bit again. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the rest of the game. Number 5, Grant Hall, receives the ball and takes it for 25 yards.
Riley, when we're done, maybe find another shot that doesn't incriminate.
Talk about
Ready, camera, 3, take 3. Oh, never mind.
And there, as you can see on the screen, is Chase Brown over there with the trainer working a little bit on his injury. We're really hoping that he is able to come back in later. He was doing very well for the Ravens, one of the better rushers on the team.
All right, ready, camera, 2, take 2.
Chase Brown had 5 carry attempts with 27 yards already for the Ravens, a very large part of their pretty small offense this evening. He was up and walking earlier with the trainer, but he's still sitting down on the bench talking to him. It'll be interesting to see if he's okay or not.
Yeah, I'll be interested to find out what's going on since he did walk off the field looking pretty okay and then all of a sudden was down on the sidelines punching the ground looking very injured.
That's another quick stop there by Manhattan as well on second down. It's now 3rd down with 20 yards to go for the first. The Ravens are deep in their own territory. The last thing they want here is a turnover, or the last thing they want here is a punt, but even worse would be a turnover.
All right, ready.
The more and more the Raven offense is being stopped so quickly that the defense is going to have to come on quicker and quicker every time, which is really wearing them down. And with the Manhattan quarterback being as good as he is, with a few other runners that are so helpful to him and the entire team, the exhaustion from the Raven defense could not be ideal for the rest of the team.
That was a pitch to number 6, Trevor Bolden. It looked like he had a little bit of running room, but he was brought down by 2 of the Manhattan defense. And now the Ravens kicking team, or the punting team, comes back on the field. It's interesting what you mentioned about the defense exhaustion. The sun has gone down here at Seaback. However, it's still very humid, very hot outside.
Yes.
Definitely a factor for both teams, and especially the Raven defense, which has been on the field so often tonight.
But if our defense is on the field as often as it is, it also means Manhattan's offense is on the field as well. Hopefully coming into this quarter. The Manhattan offense is also getting tired, and the Ravens can get a quick stop here.
6 minutes left in the second quarter. The Ravens are definitely looking to build something quick, get a score or two before halftime, give them a little bit of momentum going into the second half. Would be ideal for this this Raven team.
Looked like there's a timeout.
The punting team is still on the field for the Ravens as it's 4th down and 19 from their own 16-yard line. Definitely not an ideal situation for the offense to come back out. Manhattan lines up with 2 punt returners in the backfield.
And there's a snap to number 15.
That's Noah Brown.
Looks like the punt went out of bounds. The Ravens are going to need a really quick stop here with 6 minutes still left in the first half. The Ravens have time to maybe get a touchdown of their own if they can get a quick stop here and then get some fast plays of their own.
That punt from the Ravens puts the ball on their own 40-yard line. Manhattan already inside of their territory. The Ravens definitely need to stop here to avoid another quick score.
And there's a throw that hits the ground before it can be caught by number 81, Tate Brown.
Now that's Ashenbrenner's. That's only his second incompletion of the night. Deep inside the second quarter, he's had a very good game so far. Has definitely been an X factor for this Manhattan team with 135 passing yards now.
And that's 135 passing yards in only the first half. Not even the full first half yet, as there's still 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. So they really need to find a way to put a stop to them. And there he is running again and getting that first down. If the Ravens defense can figure out how to stop their Manhattan quarterback, they will definitely be in a better place than they are right now. That quarterback who can run and throw, as we've seen multiple times in this game, has been very detrimental to the Ravens.
No one really cares. You think like 3 people are watching? So it'd be 40. Yeah.
Another incompletion there for Ashenbrenner, only his 3rd of the night. And my apologies earlier for a previous stat. It's not passing yards, that's total yards, including all of his rushing, which is now up to 147. Still very impressive for total yards, but that's consisting of him passing and rushing the ball, which he's been doing both phenomenally tonight.
Yes, for a high school quarterback, that's amazing. And
especially
and we are now seeing why Manhattan is so high on the rankings for the state. And with Chase Brown still being on the sidelines, we have an update from one of our sideline reporters, Rosie Boswell. Now to you, Rosie.
Player number 1 for Olathe Northwest is out of the game currently with a possible strain in his right knee. They taped an ice pack to it, and he's most likely out for the rest of the game. He is one of the players that we were told to watch for ONW. This could possibly impact the rest of the game and the in turnout.
Thank you, Rosie. And as she said, with number 1, Chase Brown, being out of the game, that can be very bad for the Ravens in the second half and even the rest of the first. As we said earlier, Chase Brown was a great part in the limited Raven offense that we have seen tonight, and losing a runner like that had the ability to get some extra yards for the Ravens, not ideal for them tonight.
New development on the field as Manhattan has brought back 5 yards for a penalty, but those yards are gained right back with a quick rush for Manhattan. bringing it just to where the original first down was as they bring on this third down.
Pretty big Raven pile up there with number 5 Grant Hall being a little slow to get up and limping off the field. It looked like he was holding his knee when he was down. It's not looking good for him either, as he's still limping on the sidelines.
He is up and walking, but it seems like he's walking over to Hawkins. Yeah, Hawkins is rushing over to him.
This is not good for the Ravens. This is 2 key players now injured and on the sidelines, not just sitting but with the trainer, and the trainer does not look very happy.
But a quick stop there by the Raven defense, a nice sack. I believe that was number 34, Ethan Sadler, brother of quarterback Mason Sadler.
That is exactly what the Ravens need and what they need to be bringing out more often. We've seen the Manhattan quarterback get through so many times that the Ravens are going to need more stops like that, not only in the rest of this half, but also coming into the second half.
That's a 7-yard loss there for Manhattan. It's now 4th and 16, but their offense stays on the field. They're confident in their abilities to pick up this 16 yards. Let's see what the Ravens can do here.
A stop here by the Ravens would be great, and it looks like there was a flag. Oh, a timeout. And it looks like there was a flag with a loss for Manhattan, and yet their offense still stayed on the field. Number 5 running and getting taken down by the Raven defense. This is exactly what our Raven defense needed. They will now be getting the ball right before the 50-yard line and hopefully can get a touchdown of their own before the second half begins.
Yeah, that's a big loss there for Manhattan and a great boost for the Ravens. This is their best starting position in a while, since at least the beginning of the game. Starting on their own 45-yard line, and they, as Shelby said, they will definitely be looking for a longer drive here. 3 minutes and 46 seconds left in the second quarter. Definitely looking for just to put some points on the board, maybe get the ball back quick before the second half.
The Ravens are definitely hoping to see the benefits of running a triple option here. Hopefully they can get some yards up there and either a first down or a touchdown pretty quickly. They need to start getting on the board to be able to match that to match that Manhattan offense.
That was a quick throw there to number 86, Jesse Duckworth. Again, another incompletion. That's now 0 for 4 on the night for senior quarterback Mason Sadler. Seems like a lot of confidence was lost there in that early touchdown that was taken back for the Ravens.
Which is kind of the opposite of what we were thinking. Oh, and it looks like Mason Sadler's looking for a throw with no Raven up there. Almost an interception by Manhattan, which could have been really bad for the Ravens. That would have been the 3rd interception of the night.
Definitely what we were thinking earlier with that touchdown was that Mason would get some confidence built.
The entire offense we were hoping would get some confidence from it.
And it just doesn't seem like it's been working out that way so far.
It almost looks like it did the opposite effect on the Ravens, and it looks like they're coming out a little bit more timid possibly, and they're really needing to come out with the energy they did bring into that first drive. The student section needs to get maybe a little bit more excited for the boys. Like, as we said earlier in the game, Mason Sadler and Coach Hafner both said that the student section has a very big role for the Ravens. If they can hear the students getting loud and excited, the football players will do the same.
Sadly, another quick stop there for Manhattan. The rush is taken down again behind the line of scrimmage.
That's a 3rd down behind with 13 yards to go. My apologies, that's a 4th down.
The punting team is back on the field. That's another 3 and out caused by Manhattan. The second or third of the night. Their defense has just been all over the Raven offense today. 2 fumbles, both picked up by Manhattan. Another 3 and out, and the Ravens are punting once again.
You can see the Raven offense coming onto the sidelines, and they're all looking pretty defeated. They really need to get something good moving and hopefully regain some of that confidence that they came in with at the beginning of the game.
Looked like another option punt there for the Ravens. A better one than last time. Ball bounces, takes an unfortunate bounce back towards them, but it's picked up on about the 31-yard line for Manhattan, I believe. This is one of the only times this game that Manhattan's been deep inside their own territory on offense.
Hopefully with as much yardage as Manhattan has to go for this for another touchdown, the Ravens can get a stop in here and maybe even get the ball back before this first half ends.
With 2 minutes and 44 seconds, though, it seems like plenty of time for Manhattan to march down the field. Ravens definitely hoping for... Oh, there's a flag on the field on this play. But Ravens definitely hoping for an interception or a fumble or a 3-and-out of that sort to get the ball back.
And it looks like the flag was on Manhattan, moving them back. This is exactly what the Ravens need, as the Ravens themselves has gotten many of these same penalties and really have pushed them back for quite a lot of yards lost in this first half, which we've seen that have really affected the Ravens.
Another high snap there for Ashenberg, and he's brought down very quickly, still behind the original line of scrimmage. The Raven defense seems to be gaining some momentum here, just picking it up a little bit. A penalty flag on the Manhattan was another factor in that. We've seen a lot of penalties tonight, Shelby.
Yes, there have been a lot of penalties, a lot of yards lost on both teams. We have seen it affect the Ravens a little bit more than it's affected Manhattan, but we are hoping that both teams can kind of clean up their game a little bit and clean up those penalties.
Both teams struggling with penalties, and it looks like broken tackles all over the field here for Manhattan.
Number 32 is going all the way down, gets pushed out of bounds by number 10 on the Ravens, Gabe Barfetti.
And that's 32, B.J. Young again. He has been a dominant force. The running back and the quarterback for this Indian offense has been all over the Raven defense. They're struggling very hard to stop the run and the pass. And now the Manhattan Indians are deep inside of Raven territory again on the Raven 39-yard line. 1 minute and 53 seconds left to go.
Yeah, just like that, we went from the Ravens being in a pretty good position on the Manhattan side of the field, being able to stop the Manhattan offense a couple times, but then 32 just got through one more time, and they're back on Ravens half.
That ball was handed to B.J. Young again. That is his 6th carry of the night. He's got just about 72 yards. However, there was a flag on the field. And it's another call on Manhattan. They're brought back again. There have been many penalties for both teams.
This is really needed for the Ravens, as many penalties as they can get on Manhattan to move them back further and hopefully make it easier for the Ravens to stop this drive. It looks like the ball will be placed on the 45-yard line. But it looks like there might be some questioning by the Manhattan coach on the other sideline. Oh, it's even further back than expected on the 48-yard line.
Manhattan receives the ball now, 1st and 20, just about midfield. Number 5 in motion. Ashenburner with the carry again. He gains about 10 yards, but it's still 10 to go because of that penalty.
We've been seeing a lot of high snaps from Manhattan to the point where quarterback is having to jump to catch them, which is giving the Ravens at least a second to get back there, and yet it doesn't seem like it's really helping them all that much, as that quarterback and number 32 are still able to get through the Ravens defensive line. And there's a throw from quarterback and an interception by number 5, Grant Hall on the Ravens 25-yard line. The Ravens needed this, and they only have 54 seconds in the first half remaining. They are really looking to get out there quickly and maybe even get on the board.
Now, number 5, Grant Hall, he came out earlier in the second quarter limping. He was talking to Hawkins. Seems like he's okay now as he's back in the game. Big stop for the Ravens with 54 seconds left in the second quarter. Can they make something happen here?
That was a great play by the Raven defense, and hopefully the Raven offense can come out here and show that they are just as good. hopefully this is the confidence booster the Ravens needed to come out here and get a drive of their own.
Although it looks like the Ravens will be called for delay of game there, I do believe, as the play clock was running down. Yes, there is a flag, and they're moving back. As important, as big, and as fun as that interception was, Ravens very deep inside their own territory. They have about 54 seconds to march this ball down the field and try to gain some points.
It looks like the Ravens gained a few yards to be back in front of the original line of scrimmage.
That was number 2, Logan Evans with the carry. Very interesting play call there with not a whole lot of time. Another run up the middle, and because of that run, play clock continues to wind down. 35 seconds now. I'm honestly a little bit surprised we didn't see a pass there, but maybe the coaches were thinking something else. They're going to have a big run or a big pass here at the end. 25 seconds, the clock is winding down for the Ravens. This could be the last play of the first half.
There's another run by number 12 for the Ravens, Mason Sadler.
And unless a timeout is called here, it looks like this will be the end of the first half.
And there goes the clock. It is now halftime for the Ravens. Manhattan up 27-0. The Ravens not starting the game out as they would have liked after getting a touchdown called back for a face mask.
Now we saw flashes of good play there from the Ravens offense, especially with that touchdown catch by Ryan Andrews that was sadly called back. The Ravens, although down by 27, they are not out of this game yet. There's plenty of time left in the second half, but if they don't get something quick, then this game is very easily lost and out of control without much hope for the Ravens.
Alex, coming into the second half for the Ravens, what would you say is the biggest key they need to work on?
Well, I think it's important for Mason Sadler to gain some confidence in his passes. The run game has been stopped right at the line of scrimmage or just behind it with the very solid Manhattan defensive line. If they can start to gain some good passing plays and some long-range passing from Mason Sadler, then that will open up the running lanes. Manhattan will be looking for the pass a lot more. The running lanes will be open. Although it looks like Chase Brown, one of the best running backs for Olathe Northwest, he's on a cart right now, on a gator. He's got crutches next to him. It looks like his leg might be wrapped. He will not be returning in this game if he's being carted off. That's a very tough loss for the Ravens. He's distraught with his head in his hands.
You can see the devastation on his face from all the way up here. Chase Brown was a key part of some of the first half plays, and losing him so early can be very bad for the Ravens. We will just hope that he can come back and return to play in future games, because if not, that's going to be a big season loss for him.
Yeah, he was given the most rushing attempts of that first half, gaining 27 yards. That's second only to Trevor Bolden on this Raven team, but that is a tough loss. So with that rushing out, it's especially important now for Mason Sadler to be looking for these passing options. He has attempt throws at Ryan Andrews with 1 completion. He looked for Jesse Duckworth a few times with 0 completions there. Just not looking good for the Ravens in the air right now.
Yes, we saw Ryan Andrew catch that first ball that was originally called a touchdown, but then there was a flag on the play in the first drive for the Ravens. We were hoping that would build some confidence for both Sadler and Andrew, but as we've seen in the rest of the half, we don't think it did quite that, and are hoping that as they come back in the second half, they can come in with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more energy, and really show this Manhattan team what they're made of.
Now the Northwest Raven Band takes the field for the halftime performance. This is a band that the school actually takes a lot of pride in. They perform very well. They go to many tournaments, and they do an amazing job. They sound great. They have great musicians all around. This
and
band
then
is
dancers that are performing with the band last year and multiple years before that have been grand champions at their national competitions, which we are also very proud of. Really, this entire performance are about to show a piece of their marching show. This is one of the pride and joys of Olathe Northwest. Really, they are truly amazing.
Yeah, the performing arts at the school all around have been very well. This band led by Chris Davis and senior drum major Jace Richardson.
And it looks like they're about ready to begin. We will be back for the second half in about 12 minutes.
Olathe Northwest is proud to share with you Pulse. The field is yours. thanks and heartfelt appreciation for our supporting area directors. Thanks especially to the Van Booster volunteers and the Raven Pride Roadies for their countless hours of support tonight and at everything we do. Our greatest thanks goes to you for being here supporting the outstanding student musicians of the Raven Pride Marching Band.
Okay, great.
Get your tickets out. If you bought a ticket for the 50/50 raffle, we are just about to announce the winning ticket number. Once again, if you are supporting Project Graduation and you bought a ticket for the 50/50 raffle, we are about to announce the winning number. If you hold that ticket, please bring it to the press box on the Olathe Northwest sideline. The winning ticket number in the 50/50 raffle is 429013. 429013. If you hold that ticket, please bring it to the press box on the Olathe Northwest side.
Somebody put it here. Great. Got that. I have no idea. It's not a microphone? Nope, sure ain't.
Oh, there's a microphone. Why didn't you want to move it like towards the microphone? Like behind it?
And welcome back to the second half. The clock just ran down for halftime, and it looks like both teams are out and getting ready to get ready on the field. They both had a few extra minutes to warm up in half, which should be helpful for both teams. And the Ravens are currently down 0-27, and we've seen a lot of different plays from both teams and a lot of penalties on both teams.
Yeah, actually, in total, there have been just over 100 total yards lost from penalties from both teams. Manhattan with about 55, and then the Olathe North Ravens with 60 yards lost from penalties. Very harsh for both teams.
Yes, we've seen penalty affect both teams in some major ways, especially Northwest, as we've seen one of their touchdowns get called back in their first drive. And we see the first play of the game right there with number 8, Caleb White, running the ball for some yards before the first drive for the Ravens. As we were talking about before halftime, the Raven offense was not playing with very much energy after that first drive. We were hoping that them being able to get a touchdown, and even though it was called back, we were hoping that it would give them a little bit of confidence, but
Is it back yet?
it really didn't look like they did.
Is it back?
Yeah, for sure. But that's already a better start there. Good field position on the 45. Looking for an explosive start here.
And just a reminder about number 1 on Northwest, Chase Brown, who was carted off the field. The trainer's not even back yet.
Could you try switching sides?
Yeah.
Switching ends?
Yeah, alright. We're trying stuff out. Sorry.
Yeah. She's not back.
It'll go in this one.
Yeah.
Is it on?
We see John Lindsay on the sidelines once again getting ready. He hasn't seen the field yet for a kick, but he's hoping to get on the field soon, maybe get a few points for the Ravens on the scoreboard. Ravens are currently at the 50-yard line, second down with 5 to go.
Yeah, we have to move down a little bit.
Okay.
And it looks like the Ravens might have just lost a few more yards.
Yeah, another quick stop there for Manhattan.
I would
As you were
just
saying
move it
before,
this way
John
a little
Lindsay
bit.
warming up
Can we?
again. Although he would only come on for a 3-point conversion there, he is a fan favorite and could get the crowd hyped.
Yes, as Alex is saying, John Lindsay is one of the biggest kids at school. Everybody loves him. He is one of the nicest kids you'll meet, and a lot of his friends say that he is genuinely the nice guy everybody thinks he is. So he is one of those people that the Raven Nation wants protected at all costs. We've seen in soccer games players get pretty angry over the way John Lindsay has been treated from goal. And on the football team, John Lindsay coming out on the field could give the Ravens the confidence they need and a little bit of that energy that they look like they've been lacking.
Almost another turnover there for the Ravens. Almost an interception from quarterback Mason Sadler. That was number 23, Nathaniel Hansen, the defensive back for the Manhattan Indians. It was very nearly an interception, but the ball drops to the floor, and the Ravens now 4th and 7 will be looking to punt.
And it looks like the Raven punting team is already out. Pretty quick turnaround for Manhattan, making the Ravens punt. The Raven offense is already back on the bench a lot sooner than they were hoping. Pretty high punt that goes short. Looks like it's going to bounce towards Manhattan, but number 10, Gabe Barfetti, hits him in the leg and stops at about the 40-yard line. And now we will be heading down to the sidelines with Rosie Boswell to hear the news on number 1, Chase Brown.
What?
Can you hear anything? It like literally just
Grab my headset. Grab that one. Now.
And it looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties getting Rosie on camera, so we will head down to her when the issue is fixed. We had another play there while we were gone. Looks like Manhattan has the ball back, and there was a flag on the play bringing Manhattan behind the line.
Brown is the starting running back of this season, but he is now out with an injury. He was carted off the field in a gator with crutches earlier this game. He had a pulled hamstring last year, so it's not looking good for this season or last. And ONW is down 27-0. The final score of last year's game was 42-7, so things are looking to repeat their trend.
Yes, we have been seeing a trend happening just like last year's game where Olathe Northwest sadly lost 42-7. Well, it might not be that high yet. It is looking like it could become that high once again unless the Ravens can figure out how to stop the Manhattan quarterback, number 9, junior Achenburn, who we've seen carry it for quite a few yards on his own, but then also has been able to throw to some of his receivers to get a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, and while although he is a large threat for this Manhattan offense, he has a lot of great support around him as well. While we threw it down to Rosie, number 32, B.J. Young, the running back that we've mentioned quite a bit tonight, he had a nice a gain of 20 yards that was brought back for a penalty. So instead, on this last play, the ball was thrown to tight end Tyler Higgins, number 82. He's a senior. A nice pickup for Manhattan, although it's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go.
Manhattan really is showing us what an all-around great team can do. While Manhattan does have a few star players like their quarterback and number 32, and then a few others that we haven't maybe seen as much this game, but have been players to watch out for this entire season, they're showing that those players aren't their only good ones and that really they have an entire team of all-stars.
Yeah, talking to Coach Hafner a few days ago before this game in preparation, they were worried about the offensive line and the defensive line of Manhattan, and it seems like although they have been performing well, the biggest force on this Manhattan team has just been the offense with the quarterback Aschenbrenner doing a phenomenal job of passing and rushing. His running back B.J. Young behind him as well has been performing very well. He has a good wide receiver and tight end for us, and the offensive line have kept the defensive line of the Ravens away from him all game. The defensive line is yet to have a sack or a tackle in the backfield.
There's a throw from quarterback number 9, and it is intercepted by number 10 and ran down all the way for a touchdown for Olathe Northwest.
A pick 6 right there is exactly what the Ravens need. We were just talking about how dominant this Manhattan offense has been, and just like that, as football goes, you can see that it turns around very fast. I believe that was number 10.
Number 10, it looks like it was Gabe Barfetti running that back for a return for an intercepted touchdown. This is exactly what the Ravens needed, and we are finally going to get to see what John Lindsay can do. As we talked about earlier in the game, John Lindsay is a multi-sport fall athlete. This is almost unheard of. He plays not only varsity football, but also varsity soccer. He's the varsity soccer goalkeeper and has been for a couple years now, and he is also the varsity football kicker. And right there, we see just why he is both players.
Although it's a little uncommon for a double sport athlete like this, it's not uncommon for a kicker like him to play soccer and then kick for football. Both sports involving kicking, obviously.
Yes.
He does very well there, converting that extra point. And just like that, the Ravens are on the board, looking to rally here, gaining a little momentum. You can feel the energy from the student section as the cheerleaders rally them up. The student sections will be hyping up the defense now for the Ravens. And we'll see if they can make another stop like that happen.
Hopefully that touchdown will give the Ravens a little bit more confidence coming back onto the field now. While it didn't really give the defense much of a break since it was an interception and a return touchdown, hopefully the defense is just coming out with a little bit more energy after that, knowing that it is possible for the team to come back like that.
Yeah, like you said, even without a break there, that will give them a lot of energy and should boost them up for this next drive from Manhattan.
Like you said, it'll also boost the student section, which, like we've said multiple times in this game already, the coaches and players think the student section has a lot to do with their performance. And with the student section excited, hopefully the players will be too.
That's a great kick.
Oh, that was great.
Although it's dropped in the end zone for a touchback. That was John Lindsay again kicking off. Interesting scenes down here on the northwest sideline as Coach Hawkins, the physical trainer, returns without a sign of Chase Brown. Not sure where he is, whether it's in the locker room or somewhere else, but he definitely will now not be returning to this game.
Well, that is devastating for the Ravens not to have a key player like that from the first half. As we just saw, the Ravens are capable of coming back and getting a few points of their own. They did all of that without Chase Brown and a few of their other star players, so we definitely want to keep an eye out for that Raven defense. And number 10 especially, we've seen a few good plays from him throughout the game.
BJ Young now carries that ball about 4 yards. It's 2nd and 6 with 9 minutes left in this third quarter. The Ravens need another quick stop here, or else time is working against them. And if Manhattan builds more points with this clock running down, it's not looking good for the Ravens.
While it is just still the beginning of the third quarter, I think it's pretty safe to say that there have been a few less penalties than there had been at this time in the first half. But just like that, there are 2 flags thrown down.
Ooh, and number 32, Young, the running back that's been performing well for Manhattan, he's limping off the field, meeting with one of the coaches now.
Well, that's not great for Manhattan.
He takes a knee. He's fallen over on the sideline. He's got coaches all around him.
Well, that's not great for Manhattan. That could be just the break the Raven defense needs. BJ Young has been a thorn in the Ravens side this entire game and has really shown just what he is capable of. So a player like that not playing for these next few plays could be very good for the Ravens, while it is sad for both BJ Young and Manhattan.
Yeah, the senior running back has 7 carries with 75 yards. That added to Ashenbrenner, the quarterback's 156 total yards with 2 touchdown passes and then a touchdown run from Young. Definitely 2 large parts of their team, and 1/2 of that in Young has been taken out of this game for at least the time being. The Ravens with a stop there against Manhattan. It's now 3rd down for the Indians with about 10 yards to go.
Looks like Manhattan's been making a few more subs in the last couple minutes than they did in the first half. So it could be interesting to see how the team changes and how the dynamic can possibly change as well.
Manhattan lines up with only 1 running back in the backfield. This definitely looks like a pass from Ashenbrenner. He rolls to the left, and it's almost
picked
intercepted.
off by number 5 on the Ravens, who is Grant Hall. Grant Hall's had a great game for the Ravens as well, and while it might not look like it because of the scoreboard, Grant Hall, number 5, has been doing fairly well by himself, has gotten a few yards and a few major stops in the game.
Yeah, the Ravens with a large stop there. That's what they were looking for. 8 minutes left in this third quarter, but Manhattan is now punting. Number 10 for the Ravens, Gabe Barfetti, is looking to have a nice return here. He's lined up at about his own 40-yard line, 39-yard line.
And here comes the punt. Gabe Barfetti looking for that catch and being taken down between, looking like it's about at the 32-yard line.
The punt was muffed a little bit by Gabe. He did a great job to fall back on top of that ball as he had 2 white shirts and 0 black shirts around him. But the Ravens do retain possession of the ball and are looking to make a drive now in the third quarter.
Hopefully our Raven offense is coming into this next play with a lot of confidence, a lot of energy, really hoping to get another touchdown. We just had one a few minutes ago, and that will hopefully be really good for the Ravens.
Yeah, this offense is hopefully inspired by the defense. We'll see if Mason Sadler, the senior quarterback, can make something happen here. Although it looks like with that triple option formation, we will be seeing a lot more running. It is another run there, quickly shut down by Manhattan.
Looks like number 2 for the Ravens, Logan Evans, lost his helmet during that play, had to come off. And a few more changes to the lineup.
Yeah, that's Jesse Duckworth there, junior wide receiver, replaced by Luke Cashman, junior wide receiver. We'll see if the addition of this new wide receiver, Ryan Andrews lining up on the left and then Cashman on the right.
Ready, camera 2, take 2.
We haven't seen as much action from Ryan Andrews this game. I think he's really looking for some of those long passes, and there it is. Ryan Andrews catching it at the 35-yard line, getting a few extra yards there. That's a major first down for the Ravens and exactly what they needed.
Shelby, fantastic call there. Just talking about Ryan Andrews as he makes one big play. I believe that's Mason Sadler's first completion of the night, and it's a big one for this Raven team that is gaining a lot of momentum.
We can definitely see the confidence in them from the last play.
Ethan, you're still on.
Yeah, the student section seems to be jumping up and down. They're very excited. It seems really quiet over on the Manhattan sideline as well.
All right. Ready, camera one, take one.
Another option there from the Raven offense. Trevor Bolden saw a little bit of daylight in the hole, but is taken down by number 30 and number 42 of the Manhattan defense. Yeah, it's really hard to see, sorry. That's a bad call on my part.
Ready, camera two, take two.
Oh, yep, there it was.
Turn theirs on.
Awkward.
All right, you're on, Jenna. Ready, camera one, take one.
See another play from the Ravens. And a few players a little slower to get up from that play. We can see a lot of the players getting pretty tired, and while the sun has gone completely down, it is still fairly hot out there. Humidity's still high. And like we said at the very beginning of the game, it can be the heat can be a really big factor for both teams.
The lights as well puts a lot of pressure on the boys on the field with these night games. The lights shining down on them with the fans and the whole field illuminated.
We see Mason getting rid of that ball right there, trying to avoid the sack and hopefully trying to get it to Ryan Andrews, but it was just short.
We're on you, Ethan. Ready, camera three, take three. Ready, camera two, take two.
And there's another pass that is incomplete.
Yeah, that ball was tipped into the air a few times by the Ravens and by Manhattan. No one ending up coming up with the ball as it drops behind the defense and the offense.
All right, ready, camera two, take two.
That brings up a first down now for the Manhattan offense.
Jenna, we're on you.
This is a farther back start than Manhattan had a few times in the first half, with a few of their starts being on the Ravens 20 and 30 yard line. So hopefully the Ravens can get a few big stops right here, maybe even another interception.
There's a run now for Manhattan. Still number 32, BJ Young is not. My apologies. He is in the game, just didn't get the carry there. And there's a flag on the field.
Looks like there's a face mask.
All right, ready, camera
On
one.
the defense on the Ravens, that's another 20 yards against Northwest. These penalties have been plaguing them all night, and they have not found a way to figure this out.
Camera two, take
That is definitely not what the Ravens needed, as they were hoping for a big stop here to get the ball back and carry some momentum.
Ravens defensive coordinator Lauren Clark is on the sideline, looks visibly agitated, talking to his defense right now. And the chains move very far down the field. It's now obviously first down again for Manhattan. The ball will start on their own 45-yard line. The Ravens had them pinned down inside their own 30.
Yeah, Ethan, that's good right there.
That's never good for the Ravens, as we saw multiple times in the first half. Big penalties like these leading to touchdowns for Manhattan. Hopefully the Ravens can get a few more stops here like we did in our last play and the last few plays and get the ball back.
Now, Shelby, we were talking before the game about the heat impacting this game. I'd say the heat and exhaustion hasn't been much of a factor as the penalties have.
We see quarterback number 9 for Manhattan again making a run, but also a Manhattan player on the ground. We're not quite sure who it is, but they are not getting up. The trainers are running out there. Both teams are taking a break, getting some water. While it might be nighttime, it is still very hot, like we've said multiple times, and it has to be putting a huge plague on the players, and with the Raven defense being on the field so much and the Manhattan offense being on quite a bit, you know those players are getting not only hot but extremely exhausted.
Yeah, and the clock is stopped here now, just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Still on you, Jenna.
That Manhattan offenseman is still down on the field. The trainers are helping him up now. That's number 75. Number 75 is Sam Shields. Sam Shields was one of our players to watch from the beginning of the game. Coach Hafner of the Ravens was telling us about his role on the offensive line, protecting their quarterback. Their O-line has been phenomenal thus far. This could be a big hindrance for the Manhattan offense.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier in the game as well, Sam Shields, number 75, who is currently being walked off the field, is already committed to playing at K-State.
Student sections on both sides now stand back up as both teams retake the field. It looks like number 15, Joe Hall, comes onto the field to replace Sam Shields. No, my apologies. Joe Hall's the wide receiver.
You're good. Okay, that's good, right? A little left. That's good. Ready, camera 2, take 2.
And the game gets back up and running. A quick handoff to number 32, BJ Young, for more running yards for him.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's because you were going across the field.
Still on you, Jenna.
Yeah, that's BJ Young again. He's already got 84 yards on the night and counting as we continue the end of this third quarter.
BJ Young has had a great game along with their quarterback, and there BJ Young goes again. Like I was saying, BJ Young and their quarterback have both gotten many yards each. Their quarterback obviously getting both running and passing, but BJ Young just getting a lot of running yards, being a real thorn in the Ravens side.
Yeah, that's another 10 or 11 yards for him. Both of them have definitely been X factors in this game against this Ravens defense, who just, with that interception earlier, we saw a flash of hope for them, but they just haven't seemed to been able to make many stops against this defense. The ball's carried once again, and that's another long run for Young, picking up the first down.
The Ravens need to figure out how to stop both BJ Young and the Manhattan quarterback if they have any hope to win this game or to even come back and get close.
That's 3 first downs in a row for Manhattan as they are rolling down the field. The ball is placed on the Ravens' 21-yard line.
Camera 2, take 2.
Now, it will be interesting to see as the game begins to wind down whether or not Manhattan takes a slow approach in the fourth quarter or if they just continue to pile on points, maybe try to match or beat the score from last season.
Check all the boards. Yeah, it's not showing for us. Ready, camera 1, take 1.
The offense lines up again. Just one wide receiver on the outside. The ball's handed off to Young once more. This time he's brought down a little bit sooner, but still picks up a few yards. That'll bring up second and about 6 yards for the Manhattan Indians.
Jenna, see if you can tilt up. Alright, ready, camera 2, take 2. Jenna, up. Jenna, tilt up a little. Alright, that's good. Okay. Yeah, just fix this.
We've seen Manhattan get a pretty long drive here, getting pretty close to goal, but there was a flag thrown on this play. Anxious to see which team it'll be on.
Looks like the first down would have been picked up there for the Indians. That would have been the 4th or 5th first down of this drive that started inside their own half at about the 30-yard line. They've marched the ball all the way down the field in a series of under 10 plays. Although they are marching back now, flag must have been on the Manhattan Indians.
The Ravens really needed that. They are really struggling to stop Manhattan right now, and any extra yards Manhattan will have to run will be a great help to the Ravens defense.
You hate to see it, but it seems like a big part of the Ravens defense right now is the Manhattan offense with all of these penalties. That ball's with BJ Young again as he tries to make his way to the outside. Breaks a few tackles. Falls down. That'll bring up 3rd and about 8 yards now.
Although the Ravens are down by 20 points, we still can see the student section fairly large and with quite a bit of energy. Obviously not as much energy as they had right after the touchdown, but they've maintained a level of energy that should be helpful to the players.
Yeah, definitely still a lot of enthusiasm there. A lot of it's facilitated by the cheerleaders and the dance team of Northwest. As the Ravens do make a stop on 3rd down, which will bring up 4th. Oh, and another Northwest player limping off the field. Oh, and he falls down now too. That's number 46 for the Ravens. That's Dalton Boyd.
That is now the 3rd injury we've had for the Ravens tonight, where a player has had to come limping off the field.
Yeah, it seems like he's cramping. He's being stretched out by the trainer now.
Possibly due to some heat and dehydration.
Yeah, pass attempt there, looking for the end zone. It is broken up by the Ravens, and that will now bring up 1st down for the Raven offense. Just under 2 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. They're looking to make something happen here with a big comeback. The Northwest band now leading cheers too, keeping the student section in high spirits, although they're down by 20 points.
The Raven student section really trying to keep the enthusiasm up for the players. When you are down by 20 points, it can sometimes be hard to really get excited to go out on the field, but the student section is being a great help to the players, both on and off the field.
Quick stop there by the Manhattan defensive line. As the Ravens don't gain, actually they lose a few yards as it's 2nd and 13 now.
We've seen many times throughout this game the Ravens coming out and not even getting any yard, not even getting any yards up the field, but only going back or being stopped at the same position every time. The Ravens really need to start moving up the field. And there's a throw to wide receiver Ryan Andrews. We see a few yards gained there by the Ravens. And again, Ryan Andrew on the opposite side of the field now gets a catch, but sadly gets pushed back a few yards from where he originally caught it.
That was 3rd down there, bringing up 4th down. He was just short of the 1st down. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they bring the punting team on the field for this 4th and 1. Looks like the offense is staying on, although if a stop is made here by the Manhattan defense, that puts the Manhattan offense in perfect territory for where they want to be.
I think in this scenario, the Ravens don't have very much to lose as they really need to get some points on the board.
Now Shelby with 2 pass completions to Ryan Andrew right there. Do you stay with the pass on this 4th and 1, or do you try to go to a run, although the run game has been stopped often by Manhattan?
I mean, I don't really know. I think it's whatever your quarterback is going to be most comfortable right now. We've seen Mason be kind of scared with some of his throws and throwing them a little bit late to when Ryan has someone on his back. I think if Mason will be confident enough to throw a little sooner, he can get it to Ryan, or I think you just hand it off and let someone try to run it up.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about the option offense, is that with that running, you have multiple passing lanes multiple running lanes, that you can go towards to gain a few yards. Now the 3rd quarter wraps up. That brings us to the beginning of the 4th. There's 12 minutes left in this game. The Ravens are down by 20. They're looking for a big rally here.
It'll be interesting to see who the Ravens bring back out to the field, if it will be their offense or if it will be their punting team.
I'd imagine it's the offense, just looking for that 1 yard, maybe with a run with the option.
With 1 yard, they might just try to push it over.
Yeah, Mason Sadler will have to see what the best option is here.
From the 26.
At the beginning of the game, we saw a little bit of the benefits of having the triple option, but as the game has continued, it looks like Manhattan has quickly discovered how to defend against that. And it looks like the Ravens were not able to get that first down. It looks like some of the Raven offensive players are still on the field trying to figure out what's going on.
And now a definitive call is made by the referees. That was a stop for Manhattan, bringing up first down for them. A tough play there for the Ravens, as the Manhattan offense now has the ball on the Raven 36-yard line. This is very good field position for them.
The 26-yard line. A little bit closer and a little bit worse for the Ravens.
BJ Young now with another carry as he picks up many yards. He's still on his feet, still moving forward.
BJ Young was just able to run through almost the entire Raven line, getting through most of them, while some of them were only a step away from him.
And that's now 125 rushing yards for Young. That might be more yards than the entire ONW offense has combined. That is more offensive yards by that single running back than the entire ONW offense has combined, passing and rushing. Just has not been the Northwest Ravens' night, with their only touchdown actually coming from a defensive play.
You can see the Raven defensive line just exhausted out on the field. They've been playing more in this game than I think some of their practices maybe. They've been playing quite often, sometimes only coming off the field for a minute or two and having to go right back out to defend against not only the Manhattan quarterback, but also Manhattan's number 32, BJ Young.
The defense lines up again, hoping to make another stop. Although number 5, Grant Hall, lines up on the end zone line. That's how far back the Ravens have been pushed by this Manhattan offense. First down and 10 to go from about the 11-yard line. It's another high snap to Archenberger.
We've seen a lot of those this game where Archenberger has had to jump to catch it, giving the Ravens a second to get a little closer to him, and yet it just doesn't seem like it's really been as helpful as one would think it should be.
Yeah, and with all these runs now, the clock continues to wind down. It seems like the Manhattan offense will take their time with this play, although they do break a little early. Manhattan lines up with only one running back in the backfield. Although the ball is handing to him, it's BJ Young again, and he's in the end zone for another touchdown. That's his second of the night, and the Manhattan Indians now lead 33-7 with the extra point conversion team coming on the field.
Last time we saw Manhattan with a touchdown, they did go for the 2-point conversion, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going for here. And it looks like Manhattan might be going just for the kick for the 1 point.
Yeah, number 44. Number 44 from Manhattan lines up to take the kick.
And it's good.
That's 34-7 now for the Manhattan Indians.
The offense is returning to the field, already looking pretty defeated. Hopefully they can get out there and maybe get lucky with a few first downs, build some confidence, and be able to get a few points of their own on this next drive.
Yeah, the Ravens will definitely be looking to mount a comeback here, although they'll need a lot of touchdowns and a lot of turnovers in quick succession. Otherwise, this game is going to lose. They're going to lose this game very quickly.
I think if I'm on the Raven team right now, I'm hoping for at least one more touchdown so the score can be a little bit better than it was in the last year's game where the Ravens did only get one touchdown. I know they said many times already before their first game that they're only looking to improve this season, and this could be one area that they improve if they even get just 3 points from a kick by John Lindsay.
Yeah, and with this being the first game of the season, there's definitely a lot to learn on both sides of the football from this Ravens football team. Manhattan, with this being their first game of the season, they will be very happy with how they've been playing, and then still looking to improve upon for the season.
And the kick is caught by number 5, Grant Hall, who runs it down to the Manhattan side, Manhattan half.
That's a nice return there, getting knocked out of bounds just around midfield. This could be the start that the Ravens need, although they'll need to march down the field a little bit quicker than they have been in the previous drives.
And it looks like number 5, Grant Hall, is coming off with a little bit of a limp, which could be rough for the Ravens as he has been a great runner for them so far in the game.
Now, Shelby, Grant Hall, number 5, he was the one who limped off the field earlier in the game and went to talk to Hawkins. He's also the one who came back in and made the interception.
Right.
This has been a great he's been a great factor on this team. One of the few players who's actually been shining in this game so far. An injury to him as well as the previous one to Chase Brown, if they continue for the season, could be very hindering to the Olathe Northwest football team.
Yes, we see Mason Sadler there going for the pass to Ryan Andrew, who is tripped up before the ball was even thrown. Looks like there's a flag on the field by one of the side refs.
I'd imagine that's going to be defensive pass interference there.
Ryan Andrew looked pretty irritated as he went to the ground, thinking that he could have gotten the catch if the defender wouldn't have tripped him up. As you can hear, the Northwest student section is chanting, "You can't do that," at the Manhattan defense.
After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 10 Ravens from the Indian 38.
And we see the Ravens got a few yards ahead because of the defensive pass interference.
Yeah, it's now 1st and 10.
We
Sadler
see-
looks for another pass to Bolden.
Who tries to spin through the Manhattan defenders but gets caught by number 4, Michael Doyle. Michael Doyle, my apologies.
He's brought down a little bit early there before the first down, but that's still a nice gain for the Ravens. This drive has been won better than some of their previous ones, and they'll continue to keep marching forward towards the end zone. However, the clock is winding down and is very much not on their side at this moment.
Logan Evans with the carry.
We see the Ravens gained one more yard in that last play, so it'll now be 3rd down with 5 to go. The Ravens really need to get the first down here so they can have a few more opportunities.
Yeah, hoping this game is winding down a little bit fast as the clock continues to tick. Just under 9.5 minutes for the Ravens.
And it looks like there was an interception from Manhattan.
That ball was picked off by number 8 linebacker Tice Hoover, the 6'4" senior from Manhattan. And that's a stop that Manhattan was looking for just to end this game early.
You can see the Raven offense coming off onto the sidelines. They all look pretty irritated with their performance right now, and none of them are too pleased with how this game's been going for them. All of them have been getting very limited playing time, not what they wanted for their season opener.
Yeah, definitely not what they were hoping for. Shelby, I'd imagine we see a lot of running plays now from Manhattan. Just winding this game out, not looking for any injuries.
There goes number 32 once again, getting through a good majority of the Raven defense.
Yeah, and he picks up a first down. He's been a... Oh, no, that's... No, my apologies. It is number 32. Picks up another first down. He's been dominant all night. We've mentioned the name BJ Young quite a bit, and that's just because he's been all over the field for this Manhattan team. He's had 15 carries on the night.
I think BJ Young might be getting more carries and yards than some college football players tonight.
The play action there is it looks like it's going to Young. Instead,
Quarterback
it's the junior
number
quarterback.
9 is going all the way down, looking for another touchdown of the night, maybe number 8. And it looks like there's another touchdown by number 9. Aschenbrenner, quarterback for Manhattan.
That's a 60-yard run there from Aschenbrenner. The junior quarterback has proved time and time again that he's not just a younger player that's not a force to be reckoned with.
I believe that is Aschenbrenner's second long run for a touchdown tonight as well.
Yeah, he has 239 total yards on the night, way more than the Northwest Ravens, who are actually under 100 yards right now.
Having a younger quarterback this year is going to be so great for Manhattan next season as well. With Aschenbrenner only being a junior, you can only expect great things from him in the future.
Yeah, 44 lines up there to take the kick, and it's good. It's now 41-7, just 1 point, a 1 point difference from the scoreline last year, which was 42-7.
The Ravens are just hoping to get a few more points on the board to improve from last year. That's what they've been saying throughout the preseason practices and a few preseason games. That they just are looking to improve this year. They're not looking to be perfect, just better than they were last year.
Yeah, Coach Hafner was talking to us about how this is an unselfish team. It's a very a team-oriented team, a no-I-in-team sort of team. A nice effort from a lot of the players. No credit is given to any single or any one particular player.
Yes, we've most definitely seen that this evening, where there have been a lot of different players running, a lot of different players trying to catch the balls from Mason Sadler. We've seen a few catches or catching attempts from Ryan Andrew, number 88 for the Ravens, but also just from a few other players. We've seen runs from a couple different players, number 6, Trevor Bolden, and number 10, Gabe Barfetti, and then a few great plays by Grant Hall as well.
Yeah, number 10, Barfetti there was looking to make something happen, trying to weave in between a few Manhattan players, but he's brought down on their own 32-yard line.
The Ravens are looking for a really big drive right here with 8 minutes left in the game. They really just want to get a few more points on the board. And they're getting ready for the snap. And there it is, handed off pretty quickly. Looks like Ravens gained a few yards, but not as many as they were hoping.
Yeah, that run game all night long that Coach Hafner was telling us about, they've been looking for the run, maybe just one breakthrough play, and they just haven't been able to get that yet. I don't think there's been a run from first down that gained another first down.
Looks like that last carry for the Ravens was by number 26, Eli Becker. With 7 yards to go, it is the second down. Looks like the Ravens were trying to push the ball up the middle once again. We've seen them try that multiple times this evening, and it hasn't really worked for them very often.
Yeah, this option offense definitely had some benefits towards the beginning of the game, but it seemed like Manhattan learned and caught on pretty quickly, and has just been able to smother it for the almost 3.5 quarters now.
Looks like the Ravens are making a few changes to the lineup, hoping to get a different dynamic on the field, maybe get a player through and down the field for at least a first down. The Ravens really need the 7 yards here so they can avoid another 4th down punt. Right there, throw to Ryan Andrew, and it looks like they got their first down.
Yeah, Andrew has been one of the only receivers targeted tonight, and I think is the only one who has made catches thus far.
Ryan Andrew, being a 6'3" senior, has been playing on this team for multiple years. He has a real passion for football and has loved getting to play with all of his teammates and friends for the last couple of years. I know Andrew and Sadler, the quarterback, are very close, and they have talked about the fact that them getting to play in such key roles together has just been really fun for the both of them.
Another decent carry for the Ravens there. Gaining yards closer to the first down. It's now 2nd and 2 for the Northwest offense.
Looks like that carry was by number 2, Logan Evans, who we've seen a few other times during this game make some decent runs.
We are halfway through the 4th quarter now. The Ravens still down.
Oh, it looks like there's a fumble on the field and picked up by Manhattan. This is not what the Ravens needed. This has been multiple fumbles this game by the Ravens offense.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving there in that mix right there. The refs have done a good job of stopping that, but it seems like tensions are flaring for this Northwest team.
Some flags on the field. The refs are talking about what just happened, trying to figure out what exactly is going to happen next.
Seemed like a lot of pushing after the play was dead, and then even more just retaliation from both sides.
And it's going to be Manhattan's ball on the 40-yard line. Every time we think the Ravens got a break in just what they needed, something happens where they're just challenged one more time.
Yeah, I mean, even if we just bring it back to the first quarter, the first drive that the Ravens had, that 7 points to tie it 7-7 would have been beautiful for them. If you're joining us late, a touchdown was caught by Ryan Andrew in the back of the Ravens end zone. However, it was called back for a face mask call on the offense, and then
resulting in a 20-yard penalty.
Yep, and then they lost the ball on 4th down. Manhattan took it the other way and instead extended their lead to 14-0 and then 21-0. That 7-7 could have been huge for the Ravens, but that early loss in the beginning, they haven't seemed to be able to manage that all night and haven't been able to overcome that.
Penalties have been a huge part of this game. As we just saw a few seconds ago, Manhattan got to move the ball from the 40-yard line to the 25-yard line on the Ravens side. So they are now 2nd down with 9 yards to go. And as we've seen many times before, they're capable of going all the way. But it looks like the Ravens defense gets a much-needed tackle and stop and pushing Manhattan back a couple yards.
Yeah, it's now 3rd and 11 for the Manhattan offense. Another stop here from the Ravens could give them a little bit of inspiration, but any hopes of winning this game have been all but lost for a while now.
With the time dwindling down and the score being so big for one side, the student section has been getting a little small over the last couple minutes, but there's still quite a large group of them who have stuck around to support the boys till the very end. And here we see the Ravens get a much-needed stop. Looks like one of our Raven defensive players just got the foot of an offensive player from Manhattan, causing for a 4th down with 10 yards to go for Manhattan. And it looks like they're going to go for the 4th down since it is already on the Ravens' 26-yard line.
The ball there was snapped in a wildcat directly to Mason Reed, the junior running back for Manhattan.
Timeout charge to Manhattan.
Now on this 4th down, a timeout is called. Both teams go to their benches to talk to their coaches.
Looks like it was a Northwest timeout, hoping that they can get one more defensive stop here, get their offense back on the field, and get the ball down to at least field goal range so John Lindsay can come out and show just why he is a multi-sport fall athlete. As we were talking about earlier, John Lindsay is playing in 2 sports currently in the fall season, both varsity soccer, where he is the goalkeeper, and varsity football, where he is our kicker. When talking to John Lindsay about the struggles of playing 2 sports at once, he has been very complimentary of all the coaches and players for working with him, and says the biggest thing that he has to make sure he does is communicate with everybody. He is very complimentary of everybody and doesn't complain very often about how tired he is or how hard it can be to get to all the practices. And there's the Manhattan snap. They're looking for 11 yards, and the Ravens are looking for a big stop here. It looks like number 12 on Manhattan doesn't quite get the first down that Manhattan needed, which means that it'll be now Ravens ball on the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that was number 12, receiver Kyler Hahn, looking to make something happen there. Looked like he had a lot of good blocking if he would have looped around to the right side, but the Ravens had him trapped on the left, made the stop, and now with just over 3 minutes, they'll be looking to make a drive of their own as this game winds down.
The Raven offense coming back on the field, hoping to bring some energy back. A lot of them looking pretty defeated after the last couple plays, getting picked off so soon and getting to only play a couple minutes. This is really not how the Ravens were hoping to play in their season opener in front of a good majority of the school. We see the Ravens gaining just a couple yards there on their first down, and they will now be 2nd down with 7 to go.
Ready, camera 2, take 2.
Again, there it just seems like the blocking from the O-line has been just overpowered by the blocking of the D-line. With 4 white shirts on our 1 Northwest running back there. The offensive line looking to make blocks further downfield, but the running backs have yet to really break the middle of this Manhattan defensive line, which has been strong all game.
Our Raven offense really looking for a big play here as it's 3rd down and 6. Ryan Andrew coming back on the field, hoping to get maybe a catch and a few yards of running in to get that first down.
We passed the 2-minute mark here, left in the 4th quarter. The Raven cheerleaders, dance team, and band have all been in high spirits for that the whole game. That's a decent run there from the Northwest Ravens on the right side of the field.
Number 20, Nick Savage, looks like he got that run.
He gets the first down and gets out of bounds. The clock stopped, but with this little time left, the Ravens are probably just looking for one more score to end the game.
The Ravens really needed that first down, and now with a few more chances to get down the field a little further, Mason Sadler has the opportunity to look back at wide receiver Ryan Andrew, who he's found a few times in the game, and also try to get a few more runs down the field. We see Mason Sadler trying to hand it off to Logan Wallace, who is trying to go down the center of the Manhattan defensive line, but as we've seen multiple times in this game, and we've even talked about a couple times already, that's just not working for the Ravens. Alex, why do you think they continue to try it?
Well, you see an interesting piece there of that option play is that with the farther running back behind him, Mason Sadler has the option of throwing it to him, and he's been faking it all night, but Manhattan just seems to read through that each time. I'm guessing that the Ravens are just hoping that for once they can get that ball out to that final man. With that, like as we see right here, with that open space on the left side, I think that's what they've been looking for, just trying to open up those wide gaps by pushing it through the middle. But this late in the game, and with its failure so far, they just didn't get it working soon enough, and it really hasn't been fooling the Manhattan team. However, their incompletions have also been hindering them, leaving them really with only the run. Mason Sadler with only 2 or 3 completions, all to Ryan Andrew. It just doesn't seem like any of their offense has really been it's just not focused enough. It's not really attacking this Manhattan defense hard enough.
And it looks like Trevor Bolden, number 6, who has just handed the ball in the last play, did get the first down for the Ravens, but the time is dwindling to 4 seconds left in the game. Both teams are already shaking hands. Game over. While the Ravens did improve by about 1 point from last year, they did still fall short to the Indians, 41-7.
Yeah, definitely a lot to work on here for this Olathe Northwest Ravens football team. We saw a few flashes of greatness from Ryan Andrew, senior wide receiver, Mason Sadler getting the ball to him a few times, and some decent runs from the running back. But definitely still a lot of room to grow as this season progresses. It's still early and they have plenty of time, but if they want to make any more improvements from last season, they must focus on that offense especially.
Yeah, I think for their season opener, this isn't the exact results they were hoping for, but I think they're just happy to be back on the field. And for the seniors starting their final season at the school, I know we have quite a few seniors on the team this year. They are just really looking forward to what this season will hold and really hoping to improve how they did last year. And we'd just like to say thank you all for tuning in tonight to the Olathe Northwest season opener. We will have another live broadcast on September 11th for our school's volleyball team. The last few years, our volleyball team has been quite good, and they're looking to return to greatness this year with senior Katie Parks being their only senior on the team this year. They've been struggling their first few matches, but are looking to come back on the 11th. So tune in September 11th at 6 p.m. to watch the volleyball live broadcast. This has been Shelby Orton and
Alex Pauly.
Thank you so much for tuning in.